In the new normal, online is not your only option because new normal means new learning modalities and new learning possibilities. Let Vibal make learning offline possible with Smart Class. Smart Class contains pre-made daily modules sequenced according to DepEd's budgeted teaching and learning calendar. Each module has a specific lesson duration and has day markers to guide parents and teachers in the asynchronous learning of learners. Inside the modules available in Smart Class, you will find the following elements. First, learning competencies are identified in the module openers. Kickstarters are available to test students' prior knowledge on the subject matter. This set of activities, found at the beginning of each lesson, may also serve as motivational activities. Parents of preschool to grade 2 students will also find notes to parents which contain tips and pointers on how they can guide their child while learning at home. Redefine your students' learning experience with the integration of augmented reality technology into images and illustrations available in Smart Class, making learning more interactive and exciting. At the end of each module, Long Quiz is also available to assess students' understanding of the lesson. Smart Class also features Wrap Up, a lesson ender activity that applies the constructivism theory of learning. In Wrap Up, students are expected to summarize the lesson on their own using a graphic organizer. You may also evaluate the quality of your students' learning by letting them practice their learning in real life through GRASP's formatted performance tasks. The content of Smart Class is designed for the entire academic year, and it is available for 5 major subjects. All aligned with DepEd's K-12 curriculum and covers the most essential learning competencies prescribed by DepEd. Secure your own copy of Smart Class before classes open. Contact marketing@vibalgroup.com to know more.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our Learn at Home learning session. For today's discussion, our topic would be on teaching and learning at home amidst COVID-19 challenges. Before we begin, take note of the following reminders. Make sure you are registered to the webinar to have your e-certificate of participation. Visit certificate.vibalgroup.com to generate your proof of attendance. Place your questions on the comment box allotted during the session, and they will be addressed by our speaker later on. Share the video using hashtag LearnAsOnePH as our official hashtag to our Vibal webinars. Experience learning ka Vibal. And now, to proceed with our session this evening, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished speaker. She is the head teacher of the English department at Felizardo Silipana National High School in Giginto, Bulacan. She had been a college part-time at Bulacan Polytechnic College, or the BPC main campus, where she taught grammar and composition, advanced grammar and research, technical writing, speech, ethics, psychology, and basic research. She finished Bachelor of Arts, major in English at Centro Escolar University, Mendiola, Manila. She took up education units at Regina Carmeli College, and she finished academic requirements for the course Master of Arts in Language Teaching at the Philippine Normal University. After a couple of years, she decided to continue her studies, and she was advised to take a refresher course to finish linguistics. Instead, she decided to enroll at the Bulacan State University and took up MA in Educational Management. She was a recipient of the DISP scholarship sponsored by the Departments of Education and University of the Philippines in 2007. After her DISP scholarship, she enrolled at BSU for the degree Doctor of Philosophy major in Educational Management, which she completed in 2012. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our speaker for tonight, Dr. Antifaz Robles Reyes.
Hello, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ma'am Kia, for the very nice introduction. And I'm glad to be with our audience for tonight. And of course, I'm very proud to be with the Vival group. Okay, so let me start. Let me begin. Okay, so my topic for tonight is teaching and learning at home amidst COVID-19 challenges. So I was asked by Ma'am Kia to focus on senior high school and college, but I apologize because I decided to concentrate on the different levels of uh, learning. Actually, this topic is uh, beneficial to all the teachers in the elementary, even in the kindergarten, up to the college level. So, COVID-19 pandemic brings challenges, no? And this hampers the provision of quality education among our learners. So at this point in time, I'm going to provide you with a short recap, or actually it is a short discussion about the changes in our curriculum setting. And then later on, I will give you some tips, pointers, and reminders on how we can overcome the problems ahead of us. Okay, so I hope that you will just uh, sit, relax, and listen. Okay, so let me begin with my objectives. Okay, number one is identify the changes in the curriculum setting during the COVID-19 pandemic. My second objective is to discuss the roles of parents and teachers in educating the learners. And number three, adopt strategies for effective teaching and learning at home. Okay, so let me begin with the changes in the curriculum. For this school year 2020 to 2021, the learning competencies of DepEd had been reduced to 60%. No? Now, what are learning competencies? This refers to the knowledge, understanding, skills, and attitudes of the students need to demonstrate in every lesson or learning activity. Now, these learning competencies from the previous curriculum guide are now called Essential Learning Competencies, or in short, ELC. In fact, we have the MELCS briefer, which means, what we mean by MELCS? MELCS means most essential learning competencies. Now, why are these learning competencies considered essential? So these are the reasons. Number one, it is aligned with national, state, and or local standards or frameworks. Two, it connects the content to higher concepts across content areas. Three, it is applicable to real-life situations. Four, it is more important than other learning competencies. Number five, it is not expected to be learned from parents and community. So these are the descriptions of the essential learning competencies. Okay, Now, aside from that, the essential learning competencies can be used for lifelong learning, and then they cannot be taught by the parents. Okay. Another description of the learning competency is that it is clustered. And if it is clustered, it means that we as teachers are required to unpack and make sub-competencies. No? This stated in the slide that clustered competencies require unpacking and sub-tasking so that bigger or broader learning competencies be broken down into manageable sub-competencies. So even in preparing learning resources, the writer is obliged or required to write down the broader competency and then list down the sub-competencies. And I have here an example of a learning competency, and this is a learning competency in English. Now the example is use a variety of informative, persuasive, and argumentative writing techniques. This would entail a number of other competencies in order for it to be achieved. Okay, so what are the sub-competencies under this learning competency? So first is making a stand, 2, gathering information from various sources, and 3, citing sources of information. You know that research is very important nowadays, no? And in this learning competency, we can say that it is very useful for our students, because we can make a stand, especially in debates and making arguments. So if our students would be future lawyers, this would be very important. This learning competency is very important for them. Okay, these two terms, which are content standards and performance standards, are important terms found in our old curriculum, and these still are found in our MELCs preferred. Okay, what do you mean by content standards? Content standards describe the knowledge and skills and students should attain, that students should attain, often called the what of what students should be able to do. Then they indicate the ways of thinking, communicating, reasoning, and investigating the important and enduring ideas, concepts, issues, dilemmas, and knowledge essential to the discipline. So the important words are knowledge and skills that students should attain. No, yun po yung content standards. What about performance standards? These are concrete statements of how well students must learn. What is set out in the content standards, often called the be able to do of what students should know and be able to do. Performance standards specify how good is good enough. They are the indicators of quality that specify how adept or competence a student demonstration must be. So these are two important terms found in our curriculum guide, and at present, these terms are still found. Okay, this is an example of what do you call that? The MELCs, This is found in the MELCs paper, Okay, so the quarter is given in this table, and then the content standards, the performance standards, and the most essential learning competencies. So for grade 12, 11 and 12, actually, I taught this, I taught this subject, which is English for academic and professional purposes. So this is taught for the first quarter and the third quarter. And the content standards is the learner acquires knowledge of appropriate reading strategies. So what do they have to learn? Acquire knowledge of appropriate reading strategies. Then the performance standards, the learner produces a detailed abstract. So what they will do? Produce a detailed abstract of information gathered from the various academic texts. Right. So here are the most essential learning competencies. These are the examples of most essential learning competencies found in the MELC's briefer, no, in the guidelines of the use of the most essential learning competencies or MELCs. Okay, now another change in our curriculum is regarding the learning modality, no, the delivery of learning among our students. So I took this from the teacher th.com. So I know that you are very much familiar with this. Okay, what are the four learning delivery modes or modalities for our students? We have the face-to-face, the blended learning, and then the homeschooling. Okay, and then what is the distance learning. And then the last one is apprenticeship for senior high school students. Now, it depends, no, the type of modality to be applied in the schools depend on the situation in the locality. So there are changes. No, I just want to say or to remind everybody that there are changes, no, not only in the curriculum but also in the type of learning delivery. Okay, so okay. Now, what about the challenges for effective teaching and learning? So you know already that there are changes in the learning competencies, no, and then in the type of learning uh, modality that we will use, no, in teaching our students. Now, what are the challenges ahead of us? First, of course, is the internet connection. Uh, it is a fact that many of our students, especially those who come from the marginalized sector of our society, don't have internet access. And if meron man, uh, there is the what we call poor internet connection. So this is one uh, problem, no, that may hamper the uh, delivery of quality education among our students. But anyway, there is the what we call modular, no, modular teaching. Okay. But anyway, there are some local government unit officials or non-government officials who are working, no, on this. No, they are helping their constituents to have an access of internet at home. Next, number two is added responsibility for parents. Yes, it is a challenge, no, uh, for everybody, especially the teachers, no. Kasi if the parents themselves who are living with their children believe or feel that schooling is an added responsibility for them, then of course they would be negative, no? And number three here is follow up, no, or a continuation of the challenge, no, which is found in number two, perception and attitude of the parents. Of course, no, at this point, no, I guess I believe that many of the parents are in doubt if they will enroll their students or their children or not. Because many of them are working. But, I believe that as a teacher and as a mother, if I have a negative perception and attitude about schooling, about the learning that will happen, no, during this pandemic period, if I will have a negative attitude, then it will be transferred to my children. Okay, remember that the attitudes of the parent reflect to the students. Okay, so this negative attitude will also big contribute a problem, no, on the effectivity of the learning of the learners. Another challenge for effective teaching and learning during this pandemic period is the IT competency and proficiency of the teachers. But I noticed that there are some, no, there are some companies like Vival and then EduTech and then other organizations helping the teachers to be competent, no, in information technology. And of course, the teachers are having their LAC sessions or webinars, school-based, no, to improve their IT competency and proficiency. And let us remember that we cannot give what we do not have. As teachers, we ourselves have to be competent and proficient in using computers. Another problem that we may encounter during this pandemic period is students' interests. Perhaps many of the students are not interested to learn. Why? Because it's something new. We are not used to it. We are in the new normal. So the students have to be motivated. No, there must be a motivation, no, to be given by the parents and the teachers to motivate the students to pursue learning. Okay. Now, what I have here is a chart showing generation groups. Now, I learned this when I attended the primal seminar. What do you mean by primals? It means pedagogical retooling in mathematics, languages, and science. Okay, then in that seminar, we were reminded that we have different generation groups. We have the GI generation, the silent generation, the baby boomers, the generation X, the millennials generation, and the generation Z or Gen Z. Then the years, no, the GI generation has, okay, is 76 years old, no, and above. Then yung silent generation, okay, ay nasa 67 to 75 years old. The baby boomers, okay, are born during in the year 1946 to 1964. Then Generation X are born in 1965 to 1976. The millennials are born during 1977 to 1993, and the Gen Z are 18 years old and below. Okay, so most of our senior high school students, okay, and our junior high school students, as well as those college students of ours, belong to the Gen Z generation. Now, why do I give you this? Why do I share this with you? No, because I want to describe, no, the Gen Z learners to our parents, no, and to our teachers. And in this chart, no, it is given here that the major traits of our Gen Z learners are that they are multitaskers, and then they are always connected. No, uh, in that seminar, no, in the primal seminar I attended, we were reminded that we as parents or we as teachers should not force our students to adjust with us. No, tayo daw po ang kailangang mag-adjust. Okay. Bakit po, no? how are we going to describe these Gen Z learners? Okay, the Gen Z learners have the 5 characteristics. Now, how are we going to describe them? What are their characteristics? First, they are social. So when we say social, it means that they are friendly. They want to be with people. Our learners nowadays are no longer conservative. They do not like to be in in the one corner of the room. So they are sociable. They are interpersonal. Next is they are mobile. They are global. They are digital. So what does it mean? So they want to transfer. They want to move from one place to another. They want technology. They live with technology. And they are visual. So it means that they want to see visual aids, and then they can uh, they have what we call uh, imaginative minds, no? Okay, so these are the characteristics of Gen Z learners, no, who belong to the uh, junior high school, senior high school, and college level. Okay, I have here the needs of the learners. Okay, the Gen Z digital natives. Okay, and these are their descriptions. They are born with complete technology. They were born with PC, mobile phones, gaming devices, MP3 players, and the ubiquitous internet. They do not know life without technology. They can email, text, and use computers without any problems, can understand and master advancement in technology, social media plus platforms, or way to communicate with the outside world. They are not bothered about privacy and are willing to share intimate details about themselves with complete strangers. They have virtual friends, and for them, hanging out with friends means talking to them over the cell phones, emails, and text messages. Considered to be creative and collaborative, and will have significant impact on the way companies work when they join the workforce. Okay, so these are the descriptions of our Gen Z learners. So they cannot live without technology. They can send emails, they text, okay, and then they know how to use uh, the websites, so on and so forth, and they can blog, so okay, so they are very much worldwide, no, because they can send information and communication not only in the Philippines but in the world. Okay, so it means that as teachers and as parents, we really have to be the first, no, in teaching them these modern technologies. Okay, and remember that, okay, also in this seminar, the final seminar, I learned that as teachers, we have to teach our students the 21st century skills. Okay, and these are what they need to be successful in the future. Okay, remember that I know as a teacher, I do believe that, okay, in the saying that we have to be proud of being a teacher because the future depends on us. Okay, now regarding the 21st century skills, what are these 21st century skills? No, first is creating. We have, as teachers and as parents, of course, we have to help our students to be creative. Let them create, using technology. Okay, next, number 2 is the second skill that we have to develop is communication. We have to develop the communication skills of our learners, and it is true, we have to teach good English and good communication skills, not only in English, but also in Filipino and even other languages. Because in our school, we also teach Mandarin. Most of the countries employ Filipinos because of our good attitudes and good character traits. And of course, one reason why other countries employ Filipinos is that because we are good in English. And let us try to improve the English communication skills of our learners. Another skill that the students have to develop, no, especially these Gen Z learners, are, of course, is the collaboration skill. Okay, we have to teach them how to collaborate. That is the reason why we as teachers give uh, collaborative activities among our learners. We give them group activities, to develop their uh, cooperation and collaboration skills for the successful uh, outcome of their tasks or activity. No, they have to know how to help one another and work on the accomplishment of a particular goal. And the last skill that we have to teach among our Gen Z learners is the critical thinking. No, so we have to develop the critical thinking of our students. The teaching process is no longer rote method or the repetition method. Repeat after me, or the memorization method. It's no longer that way. We have to involve our students with the other learners, then let them be creative, let them be communicative, and let them be critical thinkers. No? Let them be critical thinkers for them to be successful in the future. Okay? So, yun po ang Gen Z learners, no? So, ano yung dapat natin gawin? Because we have different set of learners at present. Okay, now, another thing that I want to remind the teachers who are with me tonight are the teacher's role. You know, this discussion of mine may be very simple to everybody, but I do believe that this is the foundation. No? What I'm going to discuss with you is the foundation of a teacher. Ito yung mga kailangan natin kasi yung technical aspect nandyan, and then the knowledge and skills, the competencies are there, but sometimes we forget some simple rules or tasks of a teacher. Okay, so I am here to remind everyone on our role as a teacher. Okay, so number one is a planner. A teacher is a planner. Okay, so we have the problem at present. Okay, it is the first time, it is a new normal that we are going to teach differently. But as teachers, let's plan. In fact, some schools, or all schools have the learning continuity plan. They have the plans, how they will serve, their students, to continue their education. And planning is very significant. I believe, again, mahilig po ako sa mga sayings at tinatandaan ko yung mga sayings na yan, mga quotations. And as a teacher, I believe that if I don't, or if I fail to plan, it means that I plan to fail. So if there is no plan, usually what follows is a failure. Okay, next, number two is a teacher is an analyst, no? So before we start our teaching for the school year, we have to know our students first. We have to give them diagnostic tests. We have to give them pre-tests to find out the needs of our learners. We have to find out their strengths and weaknesses. In what topic do you need enrichment activities? Or perhaps what topic needs remediation? Okay. The third role of a teacher is a motivator. This time there is no face-to-face because according to our dear president, there would be no face-to-face mode of learning because there is no vaccine discovered yet. There is no available vaccine against COVID-19. So there is no face-to-face, no? Now, syempre, it is a different mode of learning. So yung mga bata, siguro hindi sila properly motivated, no? So as teachers and as parents, tayo yung gumawa ng paraan, no, to motivate our students. Okay, we have to arouse their interest to continue learning. No, let us do our part. Kasi kung hindi po, sino? Next, number 4 is facilitator. We always facilitate for the learning to be shared easier, no, or easily. Next, organizer. Of course, the teachers serve as organizers because we want our learners, we want everything to be in order. Okay? Number 6, creator. The teachers also serve as creator. And I hope you agree with that, no? Because we create visual aids, we create graphic organizers, we create instructional materials, and this time, most of the teachers create learning resources like modules, self-learning kits, then mga activity sheets. Out of nothing, no, we can create something. Okay, so that is a teacher. Then ngayon nga, nakakagawa ang teachers ng e-book, and then nakakagawa ng mga websites, so on and so forth, no? Okay, so with the aid of technology. Next, IT competent. Okay, so yan nga po. Our learners should not be left behind. IT na po, technology world na po tayo. And we have to be an example of a person who is competent in information technology. It is very important at present. So a teacher has to be IT competent for his or her students to be IT competent too. Okay, and I don't know if you notice also, because I noticed that at present there are many, or there are Filipinos who become jobless, but the IT graduates are still having their jobs. Okay, so remember that we are preparing our students, you know, to be prepared in the workforce. So it is essential or significant for us teachers to be IT competent. Next is assessor. Okay, so after teaching our students, we assess their performance. Okay. And when we assess their performance, of course, we give feedback. So remember that in giving feedbacks, we have to be constructive. We are here to help and not to destroy or to degrade. But as teachers now, I heard from the persons in the higher positions that we do not try to be perfect, but we strive for excellence. Diba? So maganda talaga, no? Kasi ang ganda if that will be given or provided to our learners, then there would be siguro a very developed Philippines, no? So regarding assessment, so we as teachers have to be prepared, uh, on how to assess learning. Then we have to use rubrics. Then we need to have also some words of encouragement to our students. Kasi when we assess, wag po, syempre, not all students are the same. No? Okay. So please try to be constructive and helpful. Next is counselor. Teachers also serve as counselor. And I observed personally, I noticed that some students nowadays are not very much interested in their studies because of several factors. What are these factors? It may be peer influence, it may be the family, because of broken family. So sometimes there is depression among our students. And let us try to counsel them. Let us try to save souls. Kapag i-imagine ninyo, kapag natulungan po natin itong mga batang ito, please nailigtas natin sila at natulungan natin sila. So, para po sa akin, teachers do not only serve as mentors, we are not only here to provide knowledge, skills, and competencies, but we are here for different roles. We have different roles to portray, we have different roles to do, we have different roles to perform for the success of our learners. Okay. Now, then the last role of a teacher is to be a model. Okay? May mga teachers po kasi na minsan nabibigla, and the words that they utter are not that so good, But remember that yun nga po, tandaan po natin na ang values ay hindi tinuturo. Ito ay nakukuha ng mga teachers from their parents and from their teachers. So let us try to be the model of our students in several aspects, Okay, and as teachers, let Jesus Christ serve as our model, Yung po bang merong humility, nandyan yung faith, Yung faith, yung mga magaganda po characteristics, na makikita sa atin ng bata, tayo rin, remember po na meron tayong core values, maka-Diyos, makatao, makakalikasan, makabansa, yung maka-Diyos, So let us show our students, na tayo ay maka-Diyos. Pag po siguro ganon, siguro ang babait na mga bata natin. Okay. Now, let us proceed with the effective teaching strategies. So how can teaching be effective during this time of pandemic? Na kahit naman noon po ay ginagawa nyo na, Kaya lang, mas lalo po ngayon. No? Ito yung kailangan natin ngayon para po talagang magkaroon ng learning ang mga bata. So have your goal and plan for it. Of course, any organization, any educational institution has a goal. And we have to stick as teachers of any organization, private man yan or public, we have to focus on our goals and plan for it. Let us be contributors for the attainment of an institution's goal, of DepEd's goal, for example. Okay, next, number 2, inform the students on what they have to know and what they have to do. Sometimes, there is no learning kasi ano ba yung gagawin, no? Yung bata hindi handa. They were not informed ahead of time. So, as a teacher for 32 years, pasensya na po kayo, I suggest that we have to inform our students at the beginning of our lesson on what they have to know and what they have to do para prepared sila. Yun pala yung matututuhan ko for the day. And then, what do I have to do? What do I have to perform afterwards? Siguro po pag ganon, maganda yung magiging output or result ng learning ng bata. Okay. Number 3, employ gradual and or logical steps for the learners to discover and learn. Okay, so huwag po nating pilain yung ating mga learners to learn. Employ gradual and or logical steps for the learners to discover and learn. So ako, I admire my teachers who present their lessons in logical manner, na makikita mong nandun talaga yung plano na step by step for the students to discover and learn. Ay, yun pala yun. No? Okay. Mas maganda po ang pagkatuto ng bata kapag po ganun. No? Next, number 4, give praises and rewards for motivation. The students are motivated too if they receive praises, kahit po mga words of encouragement or praises. As I remember when I was teaching in the private school, I always used, okay, baka may nakikinig dyan na naging estudyante ko before, I used the term Eureka. Okay, and my students know what Eureka means, no? So, Eureka means you've got it. Okay, tuwan-tuwa po sila. And then, simple phrases and then rewards for motivation. That will do, no? To motivate our learners and let them learn, no? And make them learn. Next, number 5, establish caring and positive relationship. If that is felt by the student, I'm sure there will be a learning. There will be learning. Learning would not be impossible. Next, engage the students in more reading activities. Parents and teachers have to do it because many of our learners are not good in reading. No? The result of PISA suggests that teachers have to give more reading exercises and activities to our students, and the parents have to teach our learners, to teach our children that they need to have a reading habit. Next, number 7, follow up, provide follow-up, remediation, or enrichment. So we do not have to stop after teaching. Let's have follow-up, remediate, or enrich what they know for them to be successful individuals someday. Next, number 8, use a variety of assessment techniques. No? Okay, so magbigay po tayo ng different assessment techniques and then give them feedback. Pag po may variety of assessment techniques, of course, there would be parang ano ba, mayroong mga enjoyment, excitement, no? Kasi marami silang natututuhan, maraming variation. Pag po laging parang kung sa ulam, laging puro adobo. Okay? Next, involve parents and other stakeholders. So we have, as teachers, we have to involve parents and other stakeholders. And number 10, teach them values and virtues. Ito po yung minsan nakakalimutan ng teachers. Oh, ay tuturo ko competency and then skills. Pero yung values and virtues like yung honesty, sana po in every lesson that we have to include values. Yan ang minsan nawawala sa bata. Patience, perseverance, punctuality, honesty, so on and so forth, which are very important for our learners to be better individuals in the future. Now, for the suggestions and recommendations for parents, as parents, or as a parent rather, I would like to give you these suggestions. Number one is provide your children with their basic needs, of course, Pero as an advice lang na maibibigay ko po ay siguro kasi mayroong iba, na maluho sa pagkain. Turuan ng magulang na maging maluho sa pagkain. Pero yung mga simple pero kung masustansya, ibigay natin sa kanila. Kasi po ngayon, taghirap ang panahon, And then let us teach them to plan, even in our backyard siguro, para makapag-provide din tayo ng food, for example, because vegetables are good for our learners. Next, set time with the children. Okay, minsan yun po ang nagiging kukulangan natin because we are too busy in our work, we are too busy with other things na minsan we neglect to provide time with our children. Now, we have to prioritize. Okay, sino po ba ang binibigyan niyo ng priority? Dapat po yung ating mga anak because they will be our staff in the future. They will be our guide, once we grow old. And as I said, they are the future of our country. Okay, so let us set time with our children. Next, number 3 is communicate with them. Sometimes we don't communicate na meron na palang problema, meron na palang crashes or what. So, meron tayo hindi nalalaman. At sa iba pa ba natin kailangang malaman? So, as parents, or as teachers, okay, we have to communicate with our kids. And next is have the virtue of love and care. If there is love among parents, and then if there is care, siguro there would be no students who will be in wayward. There would be no students who will be at a loss. If they are loved and cared by their parents, if there is love, everything will be all right at home. Okay po? And then is, as parents, let them realize the value of education, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic period. As parents, we have to be the first to let our children realize the value of education. Because there is a saying or a quotation saying, education is a weapon to combat poverty. So there are some stories of those poor individuals who came from rags to riches because of education. And then why don't we tell our students some stories of these individuals who, because of education, become well-to-do or become rich, or yung naging medyo maganda ang buhay, yung nakaangat sa buhay because of education. Let us inspire our students, our learners, our kids, our children, realize the value of education. Okay, now, before I end, I would like to read this quote from Secretary Leonor Briones. According to her, this is the new world of learning. This is the new method of transmitting knowledge. More and more, we need the support of the families. We need the support of the communities. We need the support of all who advocate education. And in this quotation given by our dear Secretary, Leonor Briones. Let us work with one another. Let us support one another. Okay? The teachers cannot be effective teachers. They cannot provide learning without the support of the parents. And we also call the attention of the family, the friends, the relatives, the local government units, and NGOs who can help us support the continuity of education in our country. Okay, so that's all, and thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Then I have here my references. Okay, Ma'am Kia.
Yes, Doc. Doc Paz, thank you so much for this very informative session that you had with us tonight. So let us now proceed with our question and answer portion. Okay po. So Doc Paz, our first question came from Miss Amparo Delicia. Doc, how can we seasoned teachers adapt to being IT or computer savvy individuals?
Okay, so that is a very nice question. Teachers should not stop learning because learning is continuous. Okay, and as provider of learning, we first have to learn, especially this IT skill. Okay, how? First, of course, is through webinars. No, I okay, you observe that there are many webinars provided by different uh, institutions or organizations, and huwag tayong pahuli, pag i-grab niya kaagad natin if there are webinars provided about IT competency or proficiency. Another is through LAC sessions in school or webinar sessions in school, yung mga learning action cells done school-based na ginagawa. And then, of course, may mga provide din ang mga divisions and regional offices, and of course, yung mga schools, to hone or to improve the IT competence or skills of teachers. So let's do not stop learning. Kapag ganyan na may mga opportunities, sige, go grab. Okay, so that's my advice to everybody. And then one more thing is the tutorial class. May mga tutorial classes, and then there are also some tutorial sessions provided by YouTube. Okay, so yun po, maraming paraan kapag ginusto po. And as teachers, dapat po tayo yung gumawa ng paraan para tayo yung matuto, maging adept, maging skillful, especially in IT. Ako po at my age, hirap, honestly. Okay, but of course, because I have to do, kasi nandito na ako eh. Ito na yung trend. Ito na yung so I have to learn. Yun po talaga ang dapat natin gawin, whether we like it or not. So since nandito tayo and we have to be providers of learning and knowledge, skills, and competencies, siguro dapat po tayo yung na. Okay? Nasagot po sana yung tanong.
Okay po. Thank you very much po, Doc. Then our next question is from Miss Helena C. Ma'am, how can we better empathize with students during the online engagements only?
Okay, so how can we empathize? Siguro, I do not like, siguro, when we say empathize, we put ourselves in the shoes of our students. Of course, we have to understand them. We have to, siguro, at yun nga, ilagay natin yung sarili natin sa sitwasyon nila. But then, we have to do something. Yun ang siguro, I will encourage the learner to do something. Halimbawa, sa online, siguro pwede na invite o mag-request ng kamag-anak na pwedeng makatulong Kasi nga, ito nga, sabi ko nga kanina, sabi ni Secretary Briones, we have to work together with the other stakeholders to solve the challenges brought about by this COVID-19 pandemic. And the parents have to do the same. Siguro sila, ako nga, ako, naniniwala ako, no, ito na naman ako. Pero it is my own belief, no. Ayoko pong magsabi na maniwala kayo sa akin, but this is my belief, that kapag ginusto, may paraan. Kapag ayaw, may dahilan. So, let us have the positive attitude, no, that we can overcome the problem brought by this pandemic. Mukha nga niyang internet problem na yan. Kaya nga, pero so far, may mga tumutulong po tayo mga government officials. Pero kung wala na po talaga magagawa, nasa parents na po, siguro nasa teachers, at talagang magtulong-tulong po tayo. Kung ngayon, kung hindi naman po talaga magagawa ng paraan, meron naman po tayong tinatawag na mga other mode of delivery para in the students will learn, no? Like the radio and TV-based instruction, then the modular method, no? Yung paggamit ng mga modules. Okay? So, yun po.
Okay.
Huwag po naman tayong umasa doon sa ano. Pero we can do something. No? Basta ginusto. Okay po? Sana po na-convince ko kayo. Okay po?
Okay, Doc. So that's for our second question. And for the last query for tonight, this is from Ms. Riza Faye. How can we parents best help and support our children's teachers?
Again, pardon?
How can we parents best help and support our children's teachers?
Okay. So, how can we help, no, or siguro assist, no, our teachers to for the effective learning to happen? No? First, we have to collaborate with them. We have to communicate with them. And then, kung ano man yung mga needs, i-provide natin. And then, since nakipag-communicate tayo sa kanila, so follow up, no, yung sa performance ng bata. And then, kung ano man yung pangangailangan, yun ang ating bigay, no, yung mga kakulangan. I-provide po natin para talagang yung bata ay matuto. Sayang po kasi talagang ang ating target ay yung matuto yung bata. Kasi po talagang kailangan natin, yun ang i-provide natin para umunlad yung ating buhay at umunlad yung ating bansa. Okay, so nandiyan po yung pagtutulungan ng teachers at ng mga magulang. Ngayon, pwede rin po na magkaroon ng home visitation ang mga teachers, no, to talk with the parents and to check, no, o monitor ang ano ba yung kalalagayan ng mga bata natin na nagha-hamper or siguro bakit medyo ganun lang ang learning or what, no? So yung mga nangangailangan po ng medyo pagkatuto pa, siguro kailangan din ng home visitation ng teachers para talagang maka-assist yung parents. Yun po. And then aside from that, hindi lang pala home visitation, pwede rin ang text messaging, pwede rin tayong tumawag, no? Kasi nga may COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so kailangan po talaga ng tulungan, communication between the parents and the teachers. At yun po ay medyo hinihiling natin, no? Yung tulungan po talaga na yun. Okay po?
Okay po. Thank you very much, Doc Paz, for answering the queries from our viewers. Before we end the session, Doc, do you have any final reminders to our viewers or final greetings to our viewers tonight?
Okay, so greetings na lang kasi ang final say po is yung kay Dr. Briones, no, kay Secretary Briones na magtulungan po tayo lahat, no. Hindi lamang po ito trabaho ng teacher, hindi lamang ng magulang, lahat po. Dahil talagang maraming problema ang ating kinakaharap, pero sa pagtutulungan po ng bawat isa, palagay ko, mayroong pagkatuto. Matutuloy po ang pagkatuto ng mga bata na siyang kailangan ng ating mga bata na pag-asa ng bayan. Okay, now so at this point in time, I would like to thank Vival Group, especially Ma'am Kia, for giving me an opportunity to be your speaker for tonight. And at this point in time, I would like to greet my colleagues at Felizardo Silipana National High School, headed by my principal, Mrs. Maria Lourdes Ramos. I would like to greet my co-head teachers there who are watching and listening tonight. I would like to greet also my the department heads, the department heads in the division of Bulacan, all the department heads and coordinators in the division of Bulacan who are watching and listening tonight. Thank you very much for your greetings and message of good luck and congratulations. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your greetings. And shout out to my colleagues at St. Dominic Academy who are with us tonight also, and the same with my colleagues at San Roque National High School before. So thank you very much. Thank you po. Ma'am Kia, thank you very much. May nakalimutan pa po ako, binabati ko po kayo na isang magandang gabi at pagpalain po tayo ni Lord.
Okay po, there we have it, Doc Paz. Thank you so much for this very fruitful and informative night that you have shared with all the viewers we have today. Then we hope to see you again soonest, Doc, for another session with us here in Viva.
Okay, of course. Thank you very much. God bless.
God bless po, Doc. And to all our Kapibal viewers, thank you so much for your continuous patronage to all the webinars that we are having every day. We hope to see you to the other webinars we will be holding this week from 10 a.m. to 8 o'clock in the evening. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great week ahead, and God bless us all.
God bless everyone. God bless us all.